Hello friends, welcome to the Coderversity.com. I am Sheetal Malhotra and I'll teach you the topic Classes and Objects in Java Programming. Classes and objects are the key concepts of any object-oriented programming because to implement any program we need to create a class, and to execute or access that class we need objects. The terms class and object are related to one another, but in actual, class refers to the actual piece of code which we define, or we can say class are just a way to structure the objects, and the object are the actual instance of a class in memory that occupies space and have values associated with it. So, a class is a static piece of code that consists of attributes which do not change during the execution of a program, whereas objects are created and eventually destroyed. So, they only have a limited lifespan in a memory. While objects are living, their properties may also be changed significantly. In object-oriented programming environment, we think everything as an object, and to implement those objects we need class. In simple words, we can say that the classes are the structures which are used to define the properties and behavior, that is, variables and methods of a particular object. Now, once a class is created, we can create n number of objects of that class. Let's take a look at the syntax of creating a class. Here, modifier is the access modifier which defines the availability of this class. Then class keyword is used to create a class, followed by a class name. You can give any name to your class according to the rules or identifiers, but it should follow the naming convention rules of Java. Then this opening curly brace shows the beginning of class definition. These data members are the member variables of the class, and these methods will be used to define the behavior of the class. Then finally, the closing brace shows the end of class definition. Now let's take an example. Suppose we need to create a bank account program. Then we can think of bank account as an object. Now, to implement this object, we create a class named bank account. Having member variable balance amount of integer type, and a method to deposit balance and balance inquiry. Okay. Now deposit method is used to add the amount to the balance amount. And balance inquiry method is used to display the current balance of an account. Also, now let's define the main method which is used for execution. Now, let's first see how to create objects, or we can say instance of the class. Objects are also known as instance of classes in Java. Now, this is the syntax of creating objects of a class. In Java, new keyword is used to create a new object of class. Just specify the name of class whose object you want to create after the new keyword. These parentheses after the class name signifies that constructor function will be called each time when we create objects. Role of those constructor functions is to initialize the members of the class. As you can see here, we are creating new objects and assign it to a reference variable of particular type. This is because each time when we need to access the members of the particular class, we don't have to create objects each time. Just create once, store the reference in a variable so that the next time we can use the objects by that reference variable only. Now, in main function, let's create an object of account class. Using a new operator, so here, new bank account, and using dot operator, call the member method deposit balance. Now, in the next sentence, if I want to call the balance inquiry method, again I have to create objects like this only. So here I am creating bank account, so every time we access any member of the class, we need to create objects, and this will hold the large amount of memory, which is a total wastage. So we just create objects once, store their reference in the reference variables to use them later. So we just create objects once like this. Now this can be used again and again when we require. We create more than one objects, but only when we need them explicitly. Like we need to create two bank accounts. Then we need to create two objects of account class. So here, bank account P2, new bank account. Deposit 8,000. Balance inquiry. Now also remember that each instance of class has its own set of values for member variables of the class. Like in this particular example, the bank account B2 has the value of 8,000 and the bank account B1 has the value of 5,000. Basically, the concept of class encapsulates and binds the data and methods into a single logical entity, and those data members and methods can be accessed only by creating the objects of that class. That is why this approach is known as object-oriented programming approach. Now this is all for the objects and classes in Java. We will discuss more features of Java in next tutorials. Thank you.